Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with Musk and Big Balls.
Big balls.
Big balls.
Big Balls, who worked for Elon Musk's so-called Department of Government Efficiency, Doge.
In the one case of the Big Balls kid, a literal teenager.
Big Balls online, Big Balls here, that Katie's talking about.
A 19-year-old that goes by the username Big Balls.
So that would be one way that we could refer to him.
Young computer whizzes, the aforementioned Big Balls.
Because who among us doesn't feel better about big balls in charge of American air traffic control?
Big ball energy. I got that big ball energy. Big like a Humphrey, thick like an oak tree, wide like the Red Sea, fat like Chris Christie, hairy like a goatee. I got that big ball energy. I got that big ball energy. I got that big ball energy.
Raid just found a new way to kill more bugs.
Run for it! Go deep! It's gaining on us!
Introducing Raid Deep Reach Fogger. Its concentrated extra fine mist takes it places ordinary foggers can't reach. To kill bugs ordinary foggers leave alive.
Phew! Now we're in deep.
Yeah, deep trouble. New Raid Deep Reach Fogger. Reaches deeper to kill more bugs dead. SC Johnson Wax.
Government has wasted nearly $3 trillion in taxpayer
nearly
money since
$170 billion in improper payments last year.
$247 billion.
Billions blown on improper payments.
Made to people that should not have received them.
Overpayments, payments to the wrong recipient.
Dead people received more than $530 million last year in pension payments. Medicare paying $47 billion.
Hundreds of billions of dollars.
Medicaid improperly issuing $81 billion.
$644 million was fraud.
And $764 billion under 3 years of the Biden administration.
These improper payments have piled up to a total of $2.8 trillion.
$20 billion per month, or enough to pay for 5 years of U.S. foreign aid to all countries.
For every man, woman, and child across the country, it was $850.
Who is receiving these payments? Well, in some instances, dead people.
What is up, guys? Tyson De La Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Happy Friday. It's Friday. It's Friday. Yay. Shout out to everybody watching. If you're catching us on the replay, type in replay in the comment section. If you're catching us on the live, come on in, come on in. We got that big ball energy. Oh, shout out to the moderators in the chat and everybody in the chat. What is up? What is up? I got a jam-packed one for you guys today, so we're going to be rocking it. Shout out to the moderators. Give a kudos, round of applause to some of the best moderators in the business and anybody that is catching this on the live. Hope everybody's doing amazing today. My mind says you guys are getting a winter storm. A storm is a-brewing. 8 inches. Wow. That's a lot of snow, man. That is a lot of snow. Rob says we're supposed to get snow, but it's pushing up more north, so we're going to miss it. What is up? What is up? I love that. We got that big ball energy. There has been so much winning. It has just been winning after winning after winning after winning. And seeing these liberals just melt down. They are in a panic because their pockets are about to be empty. They're about to be empty. They've been smuggling and money laundering forever. We got a lot to talk about. We got Al Green on the docket. Who we got on the docket today? We got Al Green. So easy, even a senator can do it. Or so easy a caveman can do it. That's what I meant to say. We got more information on USAID, just kind of catching you guys with that. We got some Pete Hegseth stuff. What else we got? Maxine Waters. Whoa. She looks like that woman from Get Out. She reminds me of that woman from that movie Get Out. Where all the money went, We have the president of Rwanda talking about USAID. We have some other foreign aid stuff. We have some Lily Lee situations got going on. We're going to talk a little bit about Hunter's Coke. What else? DeSantos, Attorney General Pam Bondi, and then the Tren de Aragua. And then we're going to wrap it up with a little bit of Hot 2, girl. That's on the docket today. That is on the docket today. What is up, Rob? Hope you're doing amazing. Bright Star, what is up? Ball's going to be dragging so much snow. Oh, man. Arkansas in the house. What up, Airdrie? How's it going? How is it going? All right. We got to talk about this guy here first. Where's he at? Right here. Here he is. So easy a caveman can do it, right? They're up in arms. This gentleman right here, Representative Al Green, Democrat from Texas, says, hey, we need to impeach Donald Trump.
I rise to announce that the movement to impeach the president has begun. I rise to announce that I will bring articles of impeachment against the president for dastardly deeds proposed and dastardly deeds done. I also rise to say that the impeachment movement is going to be a grass-up movement, not a top-down. The people have got to move forward. The people have to demand it. And when the people demand it, it will be done. I did it before. I laid the foundation for impeachment, and it was done. Nobody knows more about it than I. And I know that it's time for us to lay the foundation again. On some issues, it is better to stand alone than not stand at all. Ha! Gay!
Dastardly deeds done. Oh, man. So he went on C-SPAN. He went on C-SPAN the other day, and they took open callers. Listen to this. And the caller just absolutely roasted him here.
Said that the protests don't have a plan. Well, the plan is here. This is the plan. Protest, complain now, impeach later.
Let's get to calls because the lines have lit up. Richard in Savannah, Georgia, Republican. You're up first, Richard.
Thank you. I watched you yesterday with the Democrat Party out protesting everything that Elon Musk is trying to do for the American people. The USAID is a 100% a money laundering scheme around the world, kickbacks back to the Democrat Party, whether it's through the Clinton Foundation in Haiti, $4.4 billion, and $84 million went to her daughter, Chelsea Clinton. All y'all have is impeachments and race and gender, et cetera, and you actually do nothing for the people of America today. I think the Democrats should sit back and let America see what it's like to reduce the people in government, the wasteful spending. And all y'all can do is just complain and be negative, and we're sick of it. And also,
Richard, let's have the congressman.
He was just sitting there and taking it. Look at him. He reminds me of that. Is it State Farm, guys? I don't know if it's State Farm. So easy a caveman can do it. That's how this guy looks. Is it State Farm? Who was it? Who was it? Let me know in the chat. Geico. It was Geico. So easy a caveman can do it. You guys remember this guy right here? This is him. This is Senator Al Green right here. Let me put this on the screen. Hold on. This guy right here. This is right here. Al Green right there. Oh, man. this is all they have, right? They're already pulling impeachment cards. They're already pulling impeachment cards for dastardly deeds done, whatever that means. Not sure what that means. Dastardly deeds done. Yeah. I have no idea what dastardly deeds done. It sounds like something out of I don't know, out of a poetry book or something. Dastardly deeds done. Yeah. No need to let the Congress talk. Republicans have been interrupted enough. Absolutely. Absolutely. Don says they do look alike. Yeah, the Geico guy. So easy a caveman can do it. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Now, Doge has been on the run. They've been on the move. They've been shaking and moving. There's just been so much news. It's just absolutely been crazy. Before I continue, go ahead and smash the like button if you kindly would. It does help with the dance with the YouTube algorithm. But Doge has been going to work. They removed the sign from USAID. They were taping it. They blocked everybody from going to the Department of Education. And CNN and all these other places are freaking out. Betty says, his face hurts me. President Trump has directed Elon Musk, Big Balls, and Doge to investigate the Department of Education. If you guys remember correctly, Donald Trump told Linda McMahon that he wants to basically have her, take her out of a job, take herself out of a job.
Mr. President, I wonder what you make of the criticism from Democrats that these staff reductions, the cuts that Elon Musk and Doge are doing are an unlawful power grab. Is there anything you've told Elon Musk he cannot touch?
Well, we haven't discussed that much. I'll tell him to go here, go there. He does it. He's got a very capable group of people. Very, very capable. They know what they're doing. They'll ask questions and they'll see immediately as somebody gets tongue-tied that they're either crooked or don't know what they're doing. We have very smart people going in. So I've instructed him, go into education, go into military, go into other things as we go along. And they're finding massive amounts of fraud, abuse, waste, all of these things. So, but I will pick out a target and I say go in. There could be areas that we won't, but I think everything's fertile. We're a government. We have to be open. And as an open government, I don't know, I guess you could say maybe some high intelligence or something. And I'll do that myself if I have to. But generally speaking, I'll just say go. But he will be looking at education pretty quickly, and he will be looking at military too.
Just like this post from Rebecca. Thank you, Rebecca. I appreciate you. She said, I'm so glad the bandage has been ripped off, and it has been ripped off with fierceness, absolute fierceness. Nobody has bigger cojones than what we have in office now. And they have been going ham and cheese. They have been... Did you guys see the video earlier today, which we'll get into here, with Maxine Waters trying to bully that security person that was blocking the door? And she also says, I love your podcast. I love the direction our country is going. Finally, we the people. Thank you so much, Rebecca. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, I do too. That gets a cheers. That gets a cheers. Yeah, I am really looking forward to the next 4 years for sure. Especially now that we're seeing, we knew, at least a lot of us knew, that there was a lot of miscellaneous spending going on and people were getting rich. And now it's being actively publicized. And it's crazy to me. It is absolutely crazy to me what the taxpayer dollar, our money, your money, my money was going to. It's crazy. Bananas. Al Green looks like the caveman from the deep woods. No one will care about him. Bad, ugly, bad character, attitude, and planning. You know what's crazy is he, with the Al Green situation, he openly talked about some sexual misconduct charges because he doesn't want to get hammered when Trump goes after him. Don said, "Yeah, I felt bad for the security guy." Yeah, I think that clip's here coming up here in a minute, but very, very interesting. Listen to this. Listen to what some of the funds, and you guys already know in the chat where some of these monies, where some of this moolah has been going to.
I also find it rich that all of the sudden the other side has some problem with successful businessmen being involved in politics whenever you guys are the party of George Soros, of Bill and Melinda Gates, of Sheryl Sandberg, of Mackenzie Bezos, of Taylor Swift, of so many other billionaires across the country, as well as every woke, weird pervert in Hollywood. I find this incredibly disingenuous. I think the reality is that the Republican Party under President Trump has a very clear mandate from voters, and you guys don't like it because voters rejected everything you stand for and every policy that you've shoved down the American people's throats over the past 4 years, whether it's open borders, a failing economy, raging inflation, this weird woke stuff that you guys have been shoving down our children's throats. And the voters rejected you and they welcomed our party.
Yeah, why is it? Why is it that they're up in arms about Elon Musk, but not George Soros? George Soros bought all the radio stations prior to the last election, a majority of the radio stations prior to the election. And they're not up in arms about George Soros, Alex Soros, all these other folks, but they're mad about Elon Musk. They're just mad because they're not going to be getting these cutbacks, these kickbacks anymore. Rob said, I hope Trump gives us all big tax returns for the theft for our money from these crooks. You know, that's a big hope, right? I would hope so too. I would hope so too, or at least have the opportunity to not pay taxes anymore, right? We can make money off these tariffs. I found this, I thought this was absolutely hilarious. Listen to this.
I was just laid off from USAID. It's been a rough day. For the past 3 years, I've been working with carrier pigeons in Madagascar to recognize the difference between the name brand Doritos and the generic, like, Great Value brand. I've spent over $72 million on this project, and I was literally on the verge of a breakthrough, and the funding has been cut. I know I'm going to get through this, but I would ask that you would send prayers and thoughts, and, you know, can also Venmo me if you feel the need. And also just respect my privacy at this time.
It's a joke, but this trend has been going on TikTok and X. Oh, I used to work for USAID. I used to collect belly button lint from Amazonian monkeys to see if there was any crack cocaine in it. And we've been doing this project for 5 years now, and our $125 million research is down the drain. Oh, man. Oh, Donnie says they've been spending millions of dollars trying to turn animals gay. Yeah, yeah. I was reading on where some of this money is going, like where they've just been spending crazy, ridiculous money on antelopes and poker addiction It's like, what? Here is USAID. It's official, guys. Look, they're removing the letters. What a day. They blacked out. So USAID is now now U.S. Customs and Border Protection is in full control of that entity. This is hilarious here. Rebecca says, sorry, it's not okay for Musk to help out. Yeah. Linda says, they're so dumb, they can't even realize they're being trolled. Exactly. Exactly. This is, what was it, $50 million on condoms for Gaza? Crazy. Now, Pete Hegseth just told Pentagon personnel that a massive audit is coming. Finally, they failed 7 audits. 7. Pete Hegseth says we're going to focus on heavily to ensure that at the bare minimum, by the end of 4 years, the Pentagon passes a clean audit. This is what Pete Hegseth had to say. They're cleaning house. They're cleaning house. It's like basically an NFL team and they fired everybody. They said, we're starting fresh.
That includes a Pentagon audit, which to the Marines out there, y'all got to figure it out. And we appreciate that. Lean and mean. We are going to focus heavily to ensure that at a bare minimum, by the end of 4 years, the Pentagon passes a clean audit. The American taxpayers deserve that. They deserve to know where their $850 billion go, how it's spent, and make sure it's spent wisely. It used to be that if you called for an audit, somehow you were undermining the department. I believe the exact opposite. I believe we are accountable for every dollar we spend, and every dollar of waste we find or redundancy is a dollar we can invest somewhere else, as President Trump has committed directly to rebuilding our nation's military. So rebuilding our military is key.
You know, when you think about this, right? When you think about where all the money was funneling, it was funneling in these folks like Maxine Waters. It was funneling to these folks, Joe Biden, right? The Biden crime family. What's up, Ozzy Greg? And we wonder why the United States is so much in debt. Because these people have been pocketing the cash. They've been pocketing the moolah. They've been spending 8%, 3% on a project that 100% of the funds were supposed to go to. And then they pocket the rest. Lightning Shot says, I think it's absolutely hilarious. Democrats have been trying to audit Donald Trump for many years, and now he's auditing the United States government. Payback is a bitch. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Rob said, I seen a deal where they said Trump is doing a year's worth of work each week. Wow. He's done more in the past 3 weeks than the Biden administration, the Biden and Harris administration have, that they did, period. That they did, period. Becca says, when they clean house, they're going to need a lot of Lysol. Yep. I actually got a can right here somewhere. I can't see it in this light, but yeah, it's somewhere in here. I got some Lysol up in here. I'll send it over to the Pentagon. Oh, man. Yeah, Clinton's for sure. And Pam Bondi openly came out. There's just been so much winning. Pam Bondi comes out and says, hey, I want the Epstein list to come out. I want the Diddy stuff to come out. We're still waiting for those files from the JFK. I went down a rabbit hole last night regarding the JFK files. I went down a rabbit hole, guys. Man, I was up until 1:30, 2 o'clock. Those of you that are new, I loved looking at that unsolved quote unquote mystery of the JFK assassination. I used to have a CD-ROM that I put in the computer, and I would watch the assassination footage and collect the documents. And I watched something last night just talking about the redacted documents that they released. 16 years. It was like 16-year increments. Piece of his brain was missing. It's a whole nother rabbit hole. I don't want to go down it right now. But here's what Steve Bannon had to say about USAID. USAID, taxes, dollars, entire Ponzi scheme, right?
The unitary theory says by our Constitution, the president has three roles as defined. Number one, he's the chief executive officer of the U.S. government. Number two, he's the commander in chief of the uniformed services, the military. And the third, which I never want to talk about, he's the chief magistrate and chief law enforcement officer of the government. Now, since Watergate, and Watergate was really a legal coup against Nixon, not so much CIA was involved, other people were involved, the Woodward Bernstein, the media, but it was really Judge Sirica, a federal judge, working with lawyers on the House impeachment committee, also working with lawyers in the DOJ that we now know did much of what they've been trying to do with President Trump. And so they hate the fact that the Justice Department, the FBI, has been hermetically sealed, and these progressive left globalists have run it at detriment to any Republican administration. And although most Republican administrations didn't go hard at all, they would be batted back immediately. And even President Trump, we were thwarted in year one. So in the unified theory, as chief executive, he's sitting there saying, hey, they give me pretty open field running in the Constitution about my Article 2 powers, to wit, and what Kane's talking about a lot is about the money that gets allocated or appropriated is a law. But for instance, if there's $300 billion in a green, he calls it a green new scam that's still there and a law has been passed, and he thinks that they can show that it hasn't been used properly or it's unspent, he believes that the Constitution says the appropriation is a ceiling, and he has the ability to go back and redirect it. He also thinks he has the ability with Elon Musk as an outside advisor when they highlight something like USAID and say this is really a CIA cutout. It's the money's supposed to be for development, helping people, philanthropy. We actually know it's a CIA cutout, and it's been funding, as we showed on War Room, it's been funding the invasion through the NGOs, the invasion on the southern border. Oh, by the way, it's also been funding all types of media suppression and online suppression to suppress the MAGA movement and President Trump's followers in the United States, including deplatforming people like my show. Then he feels that he can say, hey, I'm going to zero this out and Congress has got to catch up with me. On the military side, he feels, hey, I can send Pete Hegseth to the border, my Secretary of Defense, to the border with 1,500 troops to protect the national security, right? And I can do that, and I will do it. He also says, hey, I can recall Milley back to uniform and have him put on trial for treason. On the other side, he's saying, hey, the FBI, I can redo the FBI, I can restructure the Justice Department, and you're not going to stop me, right? Because I am the chief executive, I'm president of the United States. This is why Kane and these elite globalists are in shock. I mean, your first question about they're not ready, this is kind of their bleeding right now. They're writing op-eds in the Wall Street Journal. They're writing op-eds in the New York Times. I got a news flash for them. Op-eds in the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal are not going to hack it. If that's what you're going to bring, you're bringing a knife to a gunfight.
And that's what Caroline Leavitt said. This is the hill that the Democrats are going to die on. Their media doesn't have power anymore. Terry says, you won't be laughing when you don't have a 401k with Musk in charge. Listen, I personally never really relied on 401k for particular retirement. Some of you know that I have been investing in real estate for a very long time, since 2000. I started officially in 2016. And to me, there are a few things that are a lot better than a 401k. Personally, rental properties, and the S&P 500. I'm not really big into crypto. I know real estate. Like that's what I know. And as long as the assets are cash flowing, they are like bank accounts, as long as they're in places that have appreciation, cities that have heavy appreciation, like Las Vegas, California, Arizona, Utah, things like that. That's personally what I've relied on, and I'll continue to rely on, because a 401k isn't going to, or Social Security isn't going to get me personally the life that I would want to live when I'm older. So that's just me. Blessed. Shout out to Woman Queen for the super chat. Thank you so much, Woman Queen, for the super chat. Really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. You get a cheers. Here we go. Thank you, thank you. And Rebecca, new member in the house. Shout out to Rebecca. Rebecca. I'll get to all these at the end also. Thank you so much for the new membership. Really appreciate you. Don says, if I lose my 401k, all well, our country will be in a better place. And that's the other thing, right? People are saying, oh, well, he said that eggs were going to be cheaper. Here's the thing. We're going through a complete overhaul. It's going to be a little bumpy, but at the end, it's going to be a lot better long term. This is just my personal opinion. And I'm sure some of you guys in the chat might have the same opinion on that, right? It's like a breakup, when you break up with your significant other, unless you were getting, abused or whatever. It sucks. It sucks for a couple months. But then after that, you're like, oh, yeah, I'm glad I'm out of that one. Let me make sure I got all these chats rocking. All right. Rebecca says, I was 13 when JFK was assassinated, and I still find it a total cover-up by our own government. And I agree. And as the more that I've been diving down at LBJ, Lyndon B. Johnson, I'll probably have to do a whole separate video on this, but Lyndon B. Johnson, I think, that's something going on there, because he had some shady dealings prior to him being picked as vice president. Proud to be an American that served our country. Salute to you. 100%. All the service members in the chat. And he says, CIA was the biggest drug dealers in the world. Bringing cocaine, bringing crack, Black Lives Matter movement, burning buildings. Crazy. All right, we're going to jump into Maxine Waters here, the woman from Get Out, and this security guard, deranged Maxine Waters, is currently, this was earlier today. She was, look at this. This guy's a stud, by the way.
Look them in the eye. Come on, hold your face up. Look at him. Let him see you. This is him. Look at it. What's your name? Tell us your name. Give me that ID again.
Giving you the ID I showed it to you.
So what?
I showed you the ID.
You do what?
I showed you the ID.
Could you let me see the ID again? Huh?
No.
No? Will someone else ask him for the ID? Will you ask him for it? He won't let me see it again. You didn't see it. You didn't see it. They didn't see it. Look them in the eye. Come on, hold your face up. Look at him. Let him see you. This is him. Look at it. What's your name? Tell us your name. Give me that ID again.
This looks like a senior group home right here. Look at this lady shuffling over here in this red coat. Look, you gonna tell him? What's his name? Look, it reminds me from that scene from, what is it, Billy Madison? Happy Gilmore, Happy Gilmore, when his grandma goes in the nursery home. Yo, eat when I tell you to eat. You will sleep when I tell you to sleep. They got the insurers in their purses and everything.
That ID again.
Giving you the ID I showed it to you.
So what?
I showed you the ID.
You do what?
I cannot believe this. This is hilarious to me. This is straight comedy. I can't make this stuff up here. I can't make this stuff up. $241 million to transgender animal testing. What? And then we're going to move on to a couple other subjects here because I don't want to beat this over the head. But this is absolutely hilarious. $240 million. Transgender animal testing.
$1 million was spent for transgender animal testing?
Yes, and that's, I would say, is the floor, not the ceiling, because the information on federal databases is pretty incomplete.
So you think we're going to find out that it was much more money than that for transgender animal testing?
Yes.
Can you describe what exactly the American people's taxpayer dollars were spent on regarding transgender animal testing?
Yeah, in a lot of these cases, they're involve mice, rats, monkeys who are being surgically mutilated and subjected to hormone therapies to mimic female to male or male to female gender transitions, gender affirming hormone therapies, and then looking at the biological, psychological, and physiological effects of the gender transitions, looking at the effects of taking vaccines after you've transitioned these animals from male to female or female to male, looking at the size of their genitals changing after you've put them on estrogen or testosterone therapies to transition them. And in the case that the chairwoman, the example the chairwoman gave, there was a $1.1 million grant to give female lab rats testosterone to mimic transgender male humans and then overdose them with this party drug to see if animals who were taking female animals taking testosterone were more likely to overdose on the sex party drug than animals who were not.
That's the same sex party drug probably Diddy was using.
Not taking testosterone.
Mr. Goodman, are many of these taxpayer-funded animal studies shared with the public, or is there a significant oversight of this research?
You essentially needed a degree in information technology to navigate the federal spending databases to find any of this stuff.
So what you found is we're not being very transparent with what we're spending these.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man. Shit, I'm saying.
It's gross, right? It's gross. Absolutely disgusting. $241 million. That is disgusting. And to see if they react, if they're in you know, if they have this sex party drug, if they're going to react different. Okay? It's a sex party drug. Of course they're going to act different. It's like, what? Laundering. Yep. Yeah. You know, that I have a beagle. And they do a lot of animal testing on beagles, which sucks. Because some animals, some of these beagles, some of these dogs, I think they use beagles because their nose. They do it on colognes and perfumes and lotions and all this other stuff. But some of these beagles, they've never even stepped foot in grass. It's sad. It's a sad thing. I went down a tangent there, guys. Sorry. It's Friday night. Nick J says, I want my tax dollars back. Yeah, me too. Me too. Here is, listen to this. This is a woman from Rwanda. And she's talking about the foreign aid here. Before I jump into that, let me make sure the chat's solid. They're money laundering. Yep. Rebecca says, leave the animals alone. They know what they're doing naturally. Yep. What's up, Jax? Jax in the house. Very true about beagles. Yeah, beagle puppies are their audience. This sucks. Yeah. Stacy says we should be testing on them. Fauci paid Russia for testing on cats. All of his data function research, too.
then people are like, why are you complaining about foreign aid? We're here helping you build your roads. We're building your hospitals, all of that stuff. I'm like, okay, lady. So for your foreign aid, I get a few roads, but not even the best roads, because guess what? A road that was supposed to mobilize, I'm just making up a number, $5 million to make a road if you want to do it right. It costs $5 million, but I know you only put $2 million in it because you stifled the $3 million. The other $3 million went half in the pocket of the corrupt leader that you're dealing with, and the other half went straight back to you with all of your agencies that are serving also the foreign aid world. So we get $2 million if we're lucky. The rest is separated between the leader of this country, corrupt leader of this country, this foreign nation, and the other comes straight back to Tokyo, comes straight back to Paris, comes straight back to Washington, D.C., and so on and so forth.
So actually, it's not really trickling down where it needs to be.
No,
it's just getting all siphoned off. And
exactly
squandered.
For the crappy road, I guess what? I get a leader that's never going to want to leave.
Right.
Because he or she wants to stay to keep taking that money. Because remember we said $5 million road, $3 million is not accounted for.
Mm-hmm.
Some of that is in the pocket of that guy or that woman, oftentimes guys. And they're going to use that money to go buy chateaus in the south of France. They're going to have Swiss bank accounts. They're going to have all types of goodies like that. So, but because of that, because they want access and control of that foreign aid, they're going to fight.
Right, that's the thing. It's if you've already got corruption, then foreign aid will actually entrench that corruption further because there's just more and more power going to the people who are willing to do that.
So that's one thing. People who never leave, so violence, the violence that provokes. Then you also have a culture of dependency. Entire generations of Africans who learn that we're given stuff. For whom at some point, it's what's normal is not to work. What's normal is to be given. What do you mean work? What do you mean? You can't have an entrepreneurial, like society with a mindset like that. So you're robbing, you're really...
Robbing agency.
Yes, and that's big. That one is big. It's
right,
big.
That continues then down generations. It becomes a mindset.
Exactly.
It's very cancerous. Yeah.
Exactly. And least but not least, because when you're doing all of this foreign aid and all of that, it's in a way covering the real problems. When you're doing all of this, no one is talking about the business climate. And then some people will say, oh, no, what are you talking about? During the Washington Consensus, the World Bank and others told the African nations that they're going to have to clean up, their business environment a little bit. So, because otherwise we're not going to give money. And you know what many of them did? They cut healthcare and they cut education. They didn't cut their having one more mention. They didn't cut having 20 million
How much is spent on
girlfriends.
bureaucracy in general?
Nothing. Yeah. They cut where they thought it would be the easiest to cut, which is the most ridiculous thing because
that's where actually
health and education are always going to be the last thing that I personally, and even as a bleeding heart libertarian, maybe because I'm a bleeding heart libertarian, that's the one thing where I argue with so many, libertarians, because I'm like, giving money to education and to health, I will never have a problem with that. Never.
Crazy. This woman, what's this woman's name? Magita Wade. I think that's how you say it. Magita Wade is an entrepreneur in Africa, and she's an African prosperity activist. So she knows what she's talking about here. Let me jump into this one. Where's this at? Where's that one? I had another one here for you guys. Hold on. It was about the Rwanda. Here it is. Rwanda president. Here it is, right here. It's a short one.
Unconventional ways of doing things, I completely agree with him on many things.
Even though it will hurt you as Rwanda, which depends on some U.S. aid to fund your health care
and development.
I think from being hurt, we might learn some lessons to, to do things we don't do that we should be doing. This is why I'm saying, yeah, this aid thing, which I've never been a friend of it, much as I've been a beneficiary. President Trump's unconventional.
So what he's saying there is his unconventional methods, he agrees with them. Somebody's asking about the Department of Education. I know they're going after that right now. House Democrats were denied entry in the Department of Education. I don't think that there has been any additional information outside of that. I know they don't want them in the building simply because they'll probably delete emails. But the Department of Education is downsizing by Doge. This was posted about 39 minutes ago. Somebody was asking about it. So we'll jump into this right now. Here we go. Department of Education. Oh, it's just a video. 2 hours ago, Elon Musk's Department of Education no longer exists. I don't know if any of these are legitimate. Let me know in the chat because I didn't pull that information up. I think Rob might have that information. The last time that they said that they were going to audit the Pentagon, when they did, all the papers ended up in, yep, they did. They did. My sister worked for NIH, Audrey says. They already did the Pentagon when Biden was in office, and there was billions of dollars unaccounted for and missing. Department of Education was created by Carter and Reagan tried to disband it too. So this came out. George Soros received $260 million from USAID. Crazy. Absolutely crazy here. All right, we're going to kind of switch. USAID has been in the news a lot. Here's Elena Hubba. Elena Hubba comments on Secretary of State Mark Rubio slashing the workforce at USAID. USAID went from 14,000 employees to 294. Sounds like a Twitter move here.
USAID, which has been under all of this scrutiny, they're going to cut the staffing from 14,000 down to 294 people over at USAID. Your thoughts on that?
I think it's very consistent after what we've learned. Look at what we learned with Politico, 8.1 million going to Politico, who funded ridiculous stories, hoax stories, witch hunt stories during an election. To me, sounds like election interference that was being funded by the Biden administration's USAID. I can tell you the craziest things I have ever heard, Rob. I literally wrote them down because I want to get them right, because the American people will be shocked when you understand what we are seeing. $6 million funding to Egypt for tourism, $7.9 million to Sri Lanka so that they know how to properly state their gender pronouns. These are the numbers that we're seeing coming in. $4.5 million to combat disinformation in Kazakhstan. I could go on, and we've heard about all of the other things. So Rubio is doing something consistent with what our administration is, as I suspected. He's been great, as has Doge. When you're not funding ridiculous things, you don't need thousands of employees on taxpayer dollars on payroll, because we're not going to spend money that way anymore. We're going to be responsible with the obligations and the responsibility that we've been given.
I know that Trump and the team was also talking about liquidating some of the assets, some of these vacant buildings, because I think it's less than 3% of these employees actually show up to office. So that was one of his mandates prior to February 6th to say, hey, you either respond to this email and get back to work on Monday, or you're fired. There's a lot of vacant buildings that they're paying millions of dollars for upkeep, electrical, water, whatever. And then some of these buildings have also been infested with like squatters and homeless people because that's how not frequently people are in them. It's crazy to me. And if they liquidate some of those assets, they'll have some money to kick back to pay down the deficit. I haven't watched this full situation here with Lindy Lee, but she's been a very deep advocate. She used to be part of the Democratic Party. She was ahead of the fundraising situation with Kamala Harris and the Democrats, and now she recently switched parties to Republicans, and she's just spilling all the tea here.
Obama's third term. I don't think that's even a question. But also, he didn't have much faith in Kamala Harris before she ascended to the top role.
Let me jump.
His third term. There's rumors of, and these are friends of mine that are moderate Democrats say that they thought it was Elizabeth Warren running it. They thought it was Bernie Sanders running it. But I think the general consensus, I think if you asked, the majority of the population, they think it was Obama's third term.
It was for sure Obama's third term. I don't think that's even a question. I don't think anyone, it definitely was. And that's why you saw Obama fighting for his dear life. Why was he fighting so hard in the fall? Because he was fighting for his fourth term. He was fighting for his own legacy. The relationship between Obama and Biden is most reminiscent of that between LBJ and JFK. JFK had little respect for Lyndon B. Johnson, but he picked him anyway because he wanted to win the South. He wanted to win Texas. But he had very little respect for LBJ's intellect. JFK was surrounded by his Harvard brain trust, and he had immense disdain for LBJ's Texas Hill Country vibe. And that was the same attitude that Obama had towards Biden. Obama thought that Biden would eventually fuck everything up. And that's eventually actually what happened. So, but also he didn't have much faith in Kamala Harris. Before she ascended to the top role, he was vetting people like Mark Kelly and Andy Bashir. Most party chieftains didn't have Kamala Harris as their number one choice.
Right.
But in the party of DEI, you can't skip a black woman. The optics would have been terrible.
So who is running it? Who are the names?
Steve Ricchetti, his senior advisor, Anita Dunn, Mike Donnellan, Ron Klain, Jeb Zients, Bob Bauer, his personal lawyer, who's actually his personal lawyer, who actually released a book basically grifting off his relationship with the Bidens. I'm going to get in so much trouble for saying all of this. Please give me credit but these are the people who ran our country for the last 4 years.
So let's go through each name for all of the audience. Not everybody is as tuned in with who's who in the political world.
As a general overview, these are the people who made a living off of their connection with Biden. It's like they were leeching off the Biden name for decades, and all of them realized that they would never work for another president, so they had to ride the gravy train all the way through, like ride it to the very end. And that's why all of them refused to concede the truth, which is that Biden is unfit, and he would have been comatose by the time he was 86.
Who's the first name you mentioned?
Steve Ricchetti, the same guy who put his own kid at the Treasury.
She's spilling
Who
the
is
tea.
he? What's his position?
His most senior White House senior advisor. Like all of them are White House counselor or White House senior advisor. And they are the gatekeepers of the president.
Who's the next name?
Mike Donnellan, the same guy who's feeding, I'm just going to say it like it is, feeding Biden fake numbers, telling him that he would win, he would beat Trump. Seriously, are you kidding me? And the truth of the matter is, by the time Biden was going to drop out, he was on track to lose the Electoral College by 400 votes. Trump was on track to get 400 Electoral College votes. Not a typo. I'm not misspeaking. 400 electoral votes by the time he dropped out. And Mike Donnellan, his pollster, whom he, they go back decades. By the way, the major qualification for all these folks is that they know Biden really well. These aren't like PhDs or like rocket scientists or anything like that. It's just because of loyalty. And they've stayed with him for a number of years. So Mike Donnellan, Nancy Pelosi actually called him out. And she said, show me the numbers, Mike. Like, show me where you're getting these numbers that show that Biden can still beat Trump. And Donnellan wasn't able to deliver. No such numbers exist.
Who's the next name?
Who did I say? Anita Dunn. I actually have a soft spot for Anita Dunn because she got iced out of the Biden circle in July, August of this past year because she dared to say, maybe it's a good idea for the president to shy away from his convicted felon of a son because the optics aren't great.
Why do you have a soft spot for somebody who's running the country in the shadows to the ground?
Because she dared to speak up. She's the only one who did. She's the only one who dared to utter criticism.
But we went 4 years.
I know, but she's the only one who did anything a little bit different.
Don says she has big balls. She does. She does. She has a lot of guts. Ergy says Lindy Lee's so brave. She's spilling this. And I think, and we'll jump back into this video. I just want to break it up a minute. Stacy said, I feel bad for her. She's being threatened by Democrat lawyers. Yep.
You know? And she got exiled. She got kicked out of the White House.
When?
So she's July. So she got booted out. And then not only her husband got booted out. Her husband, Bob Bauer, was Biden's personal attorney. So after Anita, so I should also mention that after the debate, Hunter basically commandeered the White House. He sat in on all the White House top-level meetings. You had a former cocaine addict sitting in on the most sensitive meetings of the most consequential and important government in world history. Does that sit right with you?
No.
Without security clearance, mind you. No security clearance. That's who was basically running the show.
Wow.
So Hunter basically battened down the hatches after the debate to make sure that his father would only receive intel that he pre-approved. And so Anita Dunn got exiled around this time, along with her husband. Her husband was playing Trump in the debate prep. Ron Klain was disgraced after the debate blew up. And then Jeff Zients, the person who's worth like hundreds of millions of dollars, the chief of staff. I should mention that the weekend that Biden made the decision to drop out, he only told two people in that circle, and that's that's Steve Ricchetti and Mike. He didn't tell Anita because I was on a call with Anita that morning and she had no idea it was going to happen. It completely caught her off guard. So by that time, they were already easing her out of the circle.
Is there any, did we cover all the names?
Did we? Jill Biden?
Jill Biden.
She was like president. She was president. I was with Joe and Jill the night of the debate. I was at their VIP debate watch party. I slept all the way to Atlanta, Georgia for that, to show my support. Oh my gosh, Sean, you wouldn't believe it. So that night, I have the pictures too. I was with Joe. And so Jill takes Joe by the hand. The names are so similar. I'm sorry. Jill takes Joe by the hand on stage and she's like, Joe, you knew all the facts. You answered all the questions. And you know that hand gesture that she does. And I'm thinking, you're treating him like a first grader. You know, like just because he, you know, like you shouldn't applaud him for doing the basics. And you could just tell that she was fighting for dear life to hold on to the vestige of power. And just a few days later, she was on the cover of Vogue. So the whole thing was a Jill Biden show. She was not as authentic as Joe.
You guys remember that after the debate? She's like, you did it, Joe. You answered all the questions. You did it. You colored in the lines, Joe. Check out that full interview with Sean Ryan and Lindy Lee. Here is a small clip of this about the coke in the White House.
Kane was in the White House.
Oh my gosh. Can I just say that I am friends with members of the Biden family, one of whom actually lives down the street from me. I think it's easy for people to figure out who does. I mean, I live in Philadelphia. Okay, fine. Ashley Biden lives in Philadelphia. I did hear from someone close to the Bidens that when Hunter said he was sober, he actually wasn't sober, and this is when Biden was still president.
So it was Hunter's coke?
I can't say for sure that that particular bag of coke was his, but I'm just saying that when he claimed to be sober, he wasn't sober.
Oh, okay. I think if it was Hunter's, it probably would have been an empty bag.
But I'm just saying, you know, he had this mirage of the fact that, you know, he pretended to turn the leaf. He pretended to be a good man now, but a lot of that was just a charade.
Yeah. Hunter definitely likes to party.
He certainly does. And going to that, I want everyone to know that at every event, he was in the front row sitting like he was royalty. And a part of me was just like cringing inside because he was waltzing around like the entire world didn't see him prancing around naked with prostitutes and snorting cocaine. I just like, does this guy have no shame to be at the White House in the hallowed halls of the people's house, pretending like nothing happened, pretending like the world didn't see him in a bathtub?
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I think there was a lot of the past 4 years, a lot of disgusting stuff that happened over in the Capitol and in the White House. I mean, there was who was that guy? That guy that was...
I asked one of your staff.
Do you guys, I think it was Hunter's. I personally think it was Hunter's. Who else would it be? Or Kamala's. Hunter's or Kamala's. Or maybe it was all theirs. Maybe they just had a party. They just had a party with ice cream and Coke. I don't know.
If I'm allowed to curse in here, like fucking in Congress.
Yeah.
Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. It's like it embodies everything that's wrong with the Democratic Party.
Yeah, that, and then
And then the topless man, let's just say it, man on the south lawn of the White House.
Yeah, that was...
Like absolute disgrace.
That was crazy, man.
Disgusting.
That was crazy. I was actually...
Yeah, I think it was Hunter's too. I think it was Hunter's too. All right, we're going to get into some deportation stuff, right? But before we get into that, we have liberals doing anti-deportation deportation charms on ICE agents. On ICE agents. So she's doing a charm. She's doing a spell on ICE agents.
You will not be deported. You will not be deported. These are not the migrants you're looking for. These are not the migrants you're looking for. ICE agents explode. ICE agents explode.
Too bad it ain't working. Too bad it's not working, guys. Just in case you guys know anybody that potentially might get deported. Okay, here are foolproof ways to avoid getting deported. Okay, this is presented through the Babylon Bee. Here are some foolproof ways. Send this to your friends that might get deported. Okay, send it to your friends and say, hey, my mindset was they're doing a spell, man. She's doing a spell on the ICE agents. Oh. So any of your friends, any of your colleagues or associates or people in the neighborhood that are going to get deported, go ahead and send them this video here. They're foolproof ways to get deported, presented by the Babylon Bee.
spread panic among the undocumented migrant population of the United States. Foreign-born people across the country are looking for ways to avoid being apprehended and deported. And this video will provide you with assistance by listing the following helpful tips for migrants looking to avoid ICE. Tip number 1, go back to your own country. Simple, but effective. Tip number 2, obey immigration laws. Studies show the best way to avoid being charged with a crime is to not do anything to break the law. Tip 3, take off your sombrero. You'll be less identifiable and blend in with every other Juan, Ricardo, and Geraldo. Tip 4, resist the urge to lead an armed gang to forcibly take over an apartment complex. It may be difficult, but your willpower will pay off. Number 5, don't rape anyone. American society tends to view this behavior as no bueno. Number 6, learn English. Making a convincing case to the governing authorities is much easier when you can actually speak a language they understand. Number 7, try cutting back to less than 1 murder per week. ICE is targeting violent criminals first, so go easy on the murdering. Number 8, get your MS-13 face tattoo removed. Laser removal may be pricey, but it will help you be less conspicuous. Number 9, ask Selena Gomez to hide you in one of her mansions. She's got several of them, and based on her social media posts, she'd definitely do something to help. And finally, number 10, find the perfect hiding place, like Venezuela. ICE will never look for you there. Following these tips is a surefire way to evade capture and deportation. You'll escape the clutches of ICE and be back hanging out in the Home Depot parking lot in no time. If you have any other tips for undocumented migrants avoiding ICE, please leave them in the comments below.
Get rid of your face tattoos. Oh, man. Jack says, sadly, this is accurate. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, send it to your friends. Be like, hey, or colleagues, associates, people in the neighborhood. Be like, hey, listen, you know, the best way to not get deported is to deport yourself. Get out of here. It's crazy to me that they were doing that thing on February 3rd. They were blocking roads. They were doing all this. And then there was an incident earlier today in LA. People were beaten up on so a person was going and saying, hey, you shouldn't be doing this. And they beat him up. Be a naturalized citizen. Yeah, right. Oh, man. All right. So Ron DeSantis. Now, he was talking about Ron DeSantis, largest deportation program in history. And a lot of these sanctuary cities aren't cooperating here.
We complained, all these folks in Florida, particularly Republicans, complained for 4 years about Joe Biden with catch and release, with the border, with all the things they were doing, not having enough Coast Guard, which is why we had to do our operation with our vessels. People complained. Well, now we've got a partner that's committed to enforcing the law and reestablishing interior enforcement of immigration laws. So we have to step up to do our part. So this 287G agreement is the maximum amount of participation that we've been asked to do under federal law and with the Department of Homeland Security. We didn't hesitate to step up, and we will take advantage of this, and we will be strong partners. And again, the goal is we need to reestablish interior enforcement in this country. We have to fulfill the president's mission to effectuate the largest deportation program in American history.
I've been trying to find. I've been very interested in looking at those body cam footage. They should just feed that into a live chat They should just feed it into a live chat. But Fox went on to Aurora, and they putz isn't the word. They went with Tom Homan and the team at the apartment complex with Trende Aragua. But here's the other thing. Something got leaked. Somebody gave them a heads up that they were coming. So anyways, it's crooked folks.
Marshals, we've got FBI, we've got DEA, we've got ATF, we've got CBP, along with all my folks from ICE. Very, very grateful to have this level of cooperation, and this is something that is just going to continue. As long as there are bad guys in the streets, we're going to be out here arresting them and making sure we're keeping these communities safe.
Immigration raids targeting the worst of the worst in Colorado. Hundreds of federal agents working to take down Venezuelan gang members in Denver and Aurora, Colorado. Welcome to a brand new hour of America's Newsroom. I'm Dana Perino. Hello again, John.
Good to be with you again, Dana. I'm John Roberts here in Washington. A massive crackdown taking aim at more than 100 members of the violent gang Trende Aragua. The raids focusing on apartment buildings where TDA was in control, terrorizing residents. It appears that the gang was expecting company. The targeted apartments were mostly empty, but officials say they will not let up and will keep working to make the community safe.
Bill Malosian was on the scene exclusively as the enforcement action was underway. He's live in Aurora today. Hi, Bill.
Hey, Dana, good morning to you. This was an enormous operation. We are talking hundreds of federal agents across multiple federal agencies. Their goal, as you guys stated, was to target about 100 Trende Aragua gang members here in the Aurora area. Unfortunately, that goal was derailed, possibly due to leaks to the media that this operation was coming. We were given exclusive access to tag along and witness all of it.
God bless y'all. Let's take these bad guys off the street. Send the Gitmo. Come home safe, every one of you.
Hey guys, we can rally up. Border Czar Tom Homan rallying the troops ahead of a massive federal operation in Aurora, Colorado Wednesday morning. Several hundred federal agents from ICE, HSI, DEA, FBI, ATF, and CBP, all targeting alleged members of the Venezuelan gang Trende Aragua. Tom, you guys have hundreds of people out here. What's the goal today?
The goal today is to send a message to TDA that we're going to eradicate them from this country. There's no safe harbor. There's no sanctuary for them folks.
Fox News joined as one team of agents arrived at the Aurora apartment complex that went viral last summer when TDA gang members were seen on security video with guns.
Watch your backs on the doors now. Please open the door. Please open the door. What is he up?
As the team went door to door, they found blood-stained walls, but no gang members. The entire complex was virtually empty. At a second Trende Aragua Link complex, ICE was met by activists who taunted them. And others who used megaphones to coach those living inside. DEA agents used flashbangs inside while serving a warrant. That led to a handful of arrests, but no TDA gang members. A stop at another apartment complex netted no arrests. It seems like they were tipped off. They knew this was coming.
So yeah, I do get the impression that there were some intel leaks here, and I think that probably they did know we were coming, but we're still coming. And just because something leaks now and then it's not going to stop us.
Also on their radar, this previously deported Honduran illegal alien with pending local charges for strangulation, kidnapping, and possession of fentanyl.
Get the out of my neighborhood! Why would you do this? Why? I don't understand. I don't understand these people. Sorry to cut the video off, but why would you get out of my neighborhood? Get this ARPist out of my neighborhood. Get this drug dealer. Keep him here. Keep the drug dealer here. Keep this murderer here. Why? Why? Somebody tip these guys off.
Get out!
While activists yelled outside, agents recovered this stolen rifle from inside the man's home.
And guys, officials told us they were planning to net triple-digit arrests as a result of this operation, possibly upwards of 200 people. ICE officials told me at the end of the day yesterday, they only had 30 arrests, only one of which was a confirmed Tren de Aragua gang member. It certainly felt like everybody knew this was coming, including the targets and the local media. We'll send it back to you.
And
That's frustrating. Activist politicians here in Colorado have made it illegal for law enforcement to work with U.S. immigration agents. Illegals are crooks, and you know it. That's what Gina says. There are 3 females that set up an app to show ICE location videos about it. Okay. I'll check that out. Let me take a screenshot of that. Let me take a photo of that because I'll pull that up. Jack says every person who helps illegals hide should be deported with them. Agreed. Or prosecuted of some capacity. Once someone becomes a citizen, once somebody becomes a citizen, I just don't bother with illegal BS to me. Yep. That's crazy. You know, in Chicago, the mayor of Chicago is sending out letters saying, hey, know your rights. Know your rights. Dude, you just want to keep people in these sanctuary cities so they can vote blue. And why would you tip off? Why would you tip off and say, hey, ICE is coming here, so leave? Meanwhile, border agents seized $19 million worth of meth in a shipment of jalapenos and cucumbers. Crazy how it's all women yelling at ICE. Yeah. Yeah, let me see if I got some of South Park. I don't. It's crazy to me that they are doing this. Yeah, the George Soros radio stations that advertise where ICE is going. Ugh, it's gross. Stacy says, I'm in a sanctuary state. I'm glad. And if I knew where they were, my old ass would rather get them out. Yeah. They're coming. They're coming. Dun 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 dun. ICE, ICE, baby. ICE could go to my Walmart and get a bus load of. You know, I haven't been to a Home Depot. I haven't been to a Home Depot in a while, but they used to hang out at the Home Depot. They used to hang out at the Home Depot asking for work. Yeah, we're losing too many young Americans to fentanyl overdoses. We must get this stopped. Yeah, the fentanyl is gnarly. Just like that opioid crisis too. But this is crazy. I just saw this article. Border war heats up. Border agents sees $19 million worth of meth in shipments of jalapenos and cucumbers. That's disgusting. They could pick up hundreds of illegals if they visit any mall food court. Oh. Oh, Rob made it home, everybody. Yep. All right. I'm going to jump into this story. This is not necessarily politic related, but it is a story that has been going on for a while. Haley Welch, known as the Hawk 2 girl, she went viral about a year and a half ago. for an interview that she did, saying that, you know, how to keep a man happy or whatever the situation is, and you got to spit on that thing. Anyways, she took advantage of that viral steam. She started a podcast, yada, yada, yada. Another thing that she did, she partnered with some folks to start a meme coin. She started a meme coin, and then she did a quick rug pull, and then has been on this disappearing act. She hasn't been seen for over 2 months until today. Now, investors, I'm not here to tell you guys what to do with your money, but if somebody gets famous off of a meme going hawk to spit on that thing, it's probably not the best thing to invest in. Okay? It's not a reliable asset to invest in a meme coin. Haley Welch, viral internet personality, Hawk 2, spoke publicly today. So Welch was paid $125,000 up front and promised an additional $200K. There was over a couple $1 million from investors. These investors her coin was Hawk Token, surged to 490 million market cap before suddenly losing more than 95% of its value in its hours. So based on this, they basically did a rug pull, and then they removed the token, and they took investors' money. That's what happened here. Dustin said, I heard she can sure spit on that thing. Yeah, she crashed out in 15 minutes for sure. For sure. She took her fame, and then she rode that thing out. Now, she's been disappearing. She hasn't done a podcast because she basically did a rug pull on all these investors. And I want to share this. This is about a minute and 50 seconds here. Here's her first interview since she did the rug pull and stole a bunch of money from investors.
I want to start by saying thank you to all my true fans and all the people that actually watch my stuff and they keep up with me. We're trying to sort out all the pieces and stuff to like get all this figured out and make everything right. Oh my God, I'm going to cry.
No, don't cry. Don't cry. Don't cry. Everything's going to be good. We're going to be good. And guys, listen, just as a temperature check, I just want to say, the first thing that she said to me off camera was, the minute you DM me, I really wish I just texted you and called you. And that speaks to me because of how I was introduced to crypto, and we'll get into that. But I'm also kind of on the back end of things too. Like, their team's been very forthcoming. My team is vetting them the fuck out right now and has been for the last week. Thread Guy and Frank, they're going to be on this episode. It's such a weird blend and mash of worlds. No,
It rolled out.
Don't cry, Haley. It's fine. It's all going to be okay. Life is going to be okay. Oh, Haley, no.
Oh, don't do that. Don't stare at me.
No.
You know, it's not going to be okay because you took millions of dollars from people. And, you know, unfortunately, Bitcoin, meme coins, and things like that, they're not regulated. So you basically stole people's money and you did a rug pull. And I believe that there's a class action lawsuit against the Hawk token or the Hawk 2 token. And her going on a disappearing act for 2 months is a clear sign that she did something wrong. Absolutely crazy to me. That Haley idiot, I just mumbled like a Joe Biden mumble right there. Sorry about that, Rob. That Haley idiot should be in prison. You know, she should be. She stole a bunch of investors' money, and now she's crying. It's crazy.
You just
You're adorable.
Just give us a minute.
Okay. It's going to be okay.
Well, so basically how this idea got brought to me, it was supposed to be like what do they call it, a long-term coin. And the guy that ran the account, he was like, oh, we're going to change like the way everybody thinks of crypto. Crypto is going to be a good place. And I feel really bad for all the people that got affected by it. And it just didn't go the way I planned. And all the money out of this episode is getting donated to all the animals that have been affected by the fires up here.
And I'll match it. Me, Ricky, I'll match it, whatever.
I don't know who this guy is, but there was a shady partner involved into this. But yeah, exactly. If you're looking for financial advice from a chick, this scenario, you played yourself. She got her 15 minutes of fame, got a meme token out there, and pulled the rug under a bunch of investors that invested in this meme coin. It's gross. Kudos. Incoherent Claim says, I'm 1.5 years clean from fentanyl. It destroyed my life for a time. Kudos to that. I'm going to give you an applause to that because that's freaking awesome. That is awesome. Let me make sure I got everybody in the chat. So, Incoherent Claim can probably talk a little bit more about fentanyl. But it's, from my understanding, and correct me, it's similar to an opioid, way more potent. I think it's like 50 or 60 times more potent than a traditional opioid or painkiller, which these are actually subscribed items to individuals as painkillers. And a small dose of it, a small dose of it, you can overdose fairly quickly. And a lot of people on the streets are cutting other things like cocaine and these other things with fentanyl. It's crazy. Jack says, you're awesome. Incoherent Claim. Jack says there's medical fentanyl and there's street fentanyl. Yep. I believe the street fentanyl is more dangerous. And that Medcure on OD is $50 a pop. Stronger than hydrocodone. Way stronger. Airdrie would know. Actually, she would know. She knows what's up. Yeah, it's an opioid. She says it's an opioid. I think it's what's the strength of it compared to an opioid? Wow, I just looked this up, guys. Fentanyl is 100 times stronger than heroin and morphine. Yikes. What's up, Just In Case? Hope you're doing amazing. Nice to see you in the chat. Nice to see you in the chat. A patch of fentanyl is 25 micrograms. So that's small. That's tiny, 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 tiny. All right. I want to give a shout out to the super chats. Woman Queen for the super chat. Thank you so much, Woman Queen, for the super chat. Truly, truly appreciate you. And then Rebecca. Rebecca became a new member. So shout out to everybody there. And then I wanted to say thank you for everybody. Incoherent Claim, before I jump into the thank yous, Incoherent Claim said it's literally all you can find. I just got a car, apartment, and a job again. Congratulations. I lived in Arizona at this place called Cass. I wouldn't wish it upon anybody of my worst day. Yeah. Yeah, I heard it's freaking gnarly to get off of, too. Same thing with opioids. Yep. Well, I want to give a huge shout out to the moderators in the chat. Shout out to the moderators in the chat. And then shout out to some of the best chat. I think we have some of the best chat on the YouTubes. And if you want to connect with these folks that are in the chat, there is a Discord link in the description down below. You can connect with the people in the chat through the Discord group. Let me see where that link is at. Here it is. So the Discord link is in the description down below. You can connect with like-minded patriots in this chat that you're chatting with right now. You can check it out. Tap into that down in the description down below. Rob says, I love our chat. It's so much fun. Yeah. Thank you. Gina says, I love your show. Thank you. MAGA all the way. 100%. 100%. So, all right, guys, I appreciate you guys spending Friday night with me. Friday night lights. Again, kudos to the moderators. Kudos to everybody in the chat. Drop your comments in the comment section down below. If you're catching this on the replay, type in replay in the comment section down below. Other than that, guys, smash the like button, share, subscribe, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Have a great Friday night, guys. Chat soon.